This is Mr. Magnant. I'm here to show you how to use BandLab. Alright, so when you come to BandLab, you'll end up on this screen here. And up here, you'll see this library thing. Now, BandLab is completely free, and if you're enrolled in one of the music courses at Wes, I'm going to set you up with an account through your class. And if you're not in one of the classes, please let me know, and I'll set you up with an account, maybe based on a club or something like that. So, or if you just want to be an individual student working on music, that's fine too. Just let me know. Send me an email, and I'll set you up an account. Because I think the education version gives you a little bit more than if you just did it on your own. So let me know, and I'm going to kind of keep things basic and short, so it's not a super long video, and I'll make multiple videos for different things, but this will just be one to get you going. And I'll also make an even more basic video just on kind of like why some things are the way they are. That way, if you're confused about you know, the whole process, it'll make a little bit more sense to you. So up here in the folder, you have your library. And we're going to make a new song today, and I'm going to walk you through what I'm doing. So I'm going to click on Mix Editor, and it's just going to load. And this program will work on it works on Chromebooks because it's run through your browser. It's just a website. With that said, I do recommend that before you use it, you close all other tabs in Windows and close all other programs, just so you have as much memory going to this as possible. It'll keep it from going glitchy. All right, so we have bass and a guitar function over here, and these are going to be called tracks. And if you have a cable or some sort of interface where you can plug a bass or a guitar into your computer, then you'll be able to use like virtual amplifiers and stuff like that. If you're playing an acoustic instrument or any instrument, or you have an electric guitar and an amp, you can use just this microphone track right here. And whoops, I didn't mean to do that. Sorry about that. I'm trying to click so you know what I'm looking at here. All right, so you have this microphone you could sing or play or do whatever you want with, and it's just going to use the internal microphone on your laptop. Now, what's really important to know is that if you have headphones that have a built-in microphone, you might have issues because that little built-in microphone on your headphones is made for picking up a close voice. The microphone on your laptop's meant for picking things up a little bit further away. So you might want to play with the distance you're recording from your laptop, but the microphone on your headphones, when you plug that in, your computer's going to know it has a microphone and switch to that microphone on your headphones. So if you have headphones that don't have a microphone, that's better. Also, if you're using wireless Bluetooth headphones, you're going to have issues because the Bluetooth has it's late. Like it doesn't. There's a little bit of a delay. And when you're playing along with other instruments, you're always going to be behind, and that can be very frustrating and confusing. So a good old-fashioned pair of wired headphones, even if they're cheap, are going to be your best option. If you don't have those, don't worry about it. If you don't have wired headphones, then just don't use headphones at all. You'll have some issues, but you can pick up a cheap pair of just regular headphones without a microphone for like, you know, $2-3 if you need to. So. But don't make it stop you. Like, just do what you can for now and then fix it later. And I'll tell you why in a second. All right, so, and then we also have a drum machine here. And we also have some MIDI instruments where you can play in parts that sound like strings and horn sections and synthesizers using either a musical keyboard, like a digital piano hooked up with a USB cable, or just using the keyboard on your laptop, using the letters that are there. We'll get through all this in just a minute here. I'm going to click on, oh, and there's also loops down here. So plenty of options for making music for any style of music, literally any style of music. All right, we're going to start off with a drum machine, actually. And I like to play along with drums. I was going to record some live drums, but my daughter's taking a nap, so that's not a good idea. So I'm going to use this drum machine. And the reason I like to use drums first is that it gives you rhythms to connect to when you're writing other parts. And if you record other instruments first, then you might find that things don't line up. So I really like to record to a drum part. And even if I delete that drum part later on because I didn't want drums, I always have some sort of groove there that I can connect to. All right, so you notice that there's something here called A and B. So A is up here and B is over here. These are two different sections of a song. You can drag them around and disconnect them and move them. We'll talk about that some more in a second here. I'm going to click on A, and you've noticed this little grid down here changes. because there's two different drum parts. Okay, I am not going to do two different drum parts today. I'm only going to do one, just to keep things simple and fast. So I'm going to delete. Okay, and right now it has, this is called 4 measures of music. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's take a listen to it. Oops, let me click over here first. Okay, now I don't want that sound. Okay, I'm going to go with, I really like lo-fi kits and lo-fi hip-hop kits, so I'm going to go with that. And up here is 120 beats per minute. I want to go slower than that. 120 beats per minute is twice as fast as a second hand on a clock, which is 60 beats per minute. And I want to go a little bit slower than 120. I want to go about 78. That's like a walking tempo. And I changed my sound of my drum kit. So instead of the sound you heard before, it's a little bit of a different sound. And these little grids represent different sounds. There's a hi-hat. Here's a snare drum. Oops, here's a bass drum. You can change these, okay? I'm gonna go with kind of a simpler for the first half, but maybe something like that for the second half. And as time goes by, this just reads from left to right, and it's a great way to look at rhythms. In fact, I used to make graphs of rhythms when I was a younger music student, sometimes still today, if it's really complex. Like if I'm working on some complex Latin drumming rhythms, something like that, I sometimes still will write out a grid on a piece of graph paper of what to do here. So I'm kind of move some stuff around. I want this bass drum to come in right after that. I want to lead into there. That one can stay there. Let's see what it sounds like now. Okay, good enough for now. All right, so that's when I come up here and I click on this section, and I hit play. I'm going to close this. There's my drum beat, and it just keeps going. And I'm just going to use that loop for now. Okay, I'm not going to get too crazy, just for the sake of simplicity. Now I just pinch or squeeze to make it bigger or slower on your trackpad, your mouse pad. And I'm just going to make it, longer than I need. I'm going to make it go a long time here. Okay. Okay. So there we go. Next thing I'm going to do is we're going to do the microphone. So this microphone right here, and I'm going to record some guitar. So I have my guitar in my lap already. I have it going through some stuff here. This is an electric guitar. And let's see here. I think, what I'll do is I'm just going to hit play, and that way I can kind of come up with an idea. Do something like that, I guess, and it may seem a little bit loud when I'm recording it, but you do have this volume slider where you can actually change the volume of it right now. So let's see what happens. I'm gonna make sure you're selecting the track that you want to record. So I'm gonna actually rename this guitar, so keep it nice and clean. If I'm here and I hit record, it's gonna record stuff on top of this, so don't do that. Make sure you're selecting the track that you want to record. And here we go. Oh, and that's the other thing. It's going to give you 4 clicks if you're in 4/4 time. This is stuff that you'll learn about in music classes, so if you're confused about that, that means that there's going to be 4 beats, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 counted throughout the song. That also means it'll give you 4 beats of a count off before you start. You can also get 4 plus 4 beats of 2 bars before you count off if you want. All right, here we go. Back and record. I noticed that my playhead, similar to a cursor, is at the beginning. I'm gonna hit record and it'll count in 4 beats. 1, 2. there is my guitar part, and you can see the audio waveform right there. You can see it gets loud right up here. You can see it gets a little bit quieter right here. And let's see what it sounds like together. Good enough for me right now. Okay, it was a little bit late in the beginning there. That's fine. All right, so now we have these different parts. Let's record one more audio track. I'm gonna take off my guitar now. And I'm gonna grab this bass guitar right here. And we'll add a tune. Okay, and I'm just going to wing this one. I'm not going to try out anything just for the sake of time. So I'm going to add a track, voice, microphone. I'm going to rename it bass just so I'm staying organized. And I'm actually going to shorten my drum part now because I'm only recording this 12 bar blues form for anyone that's in music. You should know that. I changed up I did make some changes as far as the I substituted some chords, but it's a 12-bar blues. Okay, so here we go. I'm gonna wing it. See what happens. I'm gonna turn off my microphone and hit record. Again, you don't have to worry about that. Just let me worry about that. All right, so I actually recorded that just straight in. I didn't use any of my fancy equipment. It was just a bass guitar straight in. You could also just record it using a regular microphone, or the microphone on your laptop. All right, so I have 3 parts now. Let's see what they sound like. Okay, the bass is not really cutting through, so I'm just going to turn these down a little bit. There might be some things we could do. The effects do, when you put effects on, well, I won't talk about that quite yet, but if you do explore effects, just beware that they do tax the computer a bit, and it can make it a little glitchy. You know, again, this is running through a browser. It's not like a super high-end program, but it does work. Just you might find some limitations about what you can do, just like on a Chromebook or something like that. All right, so we're going to add a virtual instrument this time. So I'm going to click on that, and you're going to see it just says instrument and a little piano. And when you click, you can either click on instrument, I believe, yes, or you can click on the little piano down there. So we're on to our 4th track now, and you see that it has a little keyboard down here, and it says letters on it. And if I press Z or X, and there we go. That's what we have. Let's change the sound up. Instead of a piano, I want some strings. And we could do anything from harp. We could do, let's do a staccato. Let's try something like that. I'm going to add some reverb to it too. More. And maybe a ton of reverb. Okay, and this octave, if you're a music student, you know what that means, but basically the higher the number, the higher in pitch you go. Let's do... let's do something like that. I'll just wing it again. Okay, now I'm using some of my knowledge of music theory that I've learned in my music classes to kind of know what I want to throw on there already. I know the sound I want, so I'm just going to use what I know will create that sound. If you don't know much about theory, or you can't just grab the notes that you want out of thin air, then play around. Hit play. And just find notes that you think sound good and work from there, okay? I'm going to use this. So you can also scroll up and down. You can't really see. Here's my track. So I'm going to call this strings, okay? Hit record and do the best I can. All right, now look at it, looks different, right? And the reason it looks different is I'm not recording. It's not actually recording an audio file. It's recording little clicks of your keyboard. And if you go down here, this is called a piano roll. So what I did to get to that was I just double clicked on this purple region for the strings. And this came up. You can make these windows bigger or smaller too, by the way. And you can scroll in and out with your fingers just like before. Okay, so there's a playhead moving, and it's just triggering these built-in sounds. So it didn't record like audio of me playing it. It recorded these triggers. Okay, so there's a few things you can do in here. If you play the wrong note, you can grab it and change it. Okay, I'm gonna undo that using this command undo. You can write new notes in using the pencil function. Okay, I don't actually want that, so I'm just going to highlight it and delete it, or click on it and delete it. And you can also do something called quantize, which is some people consider it cheating, but if you're like into EDM and you want stuff to line up really well, then you select all. I just hit Command A, or you can go select all, or you can like or you can just like highlight things. Command all, and you can actually hit quantize, and it'll round it off to the nearest 16th note, or wherever you want to select here. So see these little lines here, the white lines? See how these were a little bit early? Well, that's actually a sound that I like, is the humanized sound, or the human sound, I guess, is sometimes beats and grooves, like you want stuff a little earlier, a little late, so you can play with it. It kind of makes it feel a little more elastic if you have control over it. But if you do want everything lined up, you just end up hitting quantize, and now everything is lined up nicely. I'll do that again. So keep your eye on these notes right here. Keep your eye on those. And I'm going to hit quantize. See, it just pops it into the perfect spot. And you can also do, again, Command A, select all, and it just did everything. It did the whole thing. Let's see what it sounds like. Now that's a little bit loud for me, so all I have to do is just take the volume slider down. Now, I think it'll sound better. If I select all. Select all. I'm going to go up 12 notes. I'm just going to bring it up an octave, which you'll know if you're take music. Nope, didn't like it. So you know what? Undo. All right. At this point, I could even change the sound still. That's the cool thing about MIDI, is that okay, say, maybe I want to go with more of a pizzicato thing. Or maybe I want to go, let's see here, synth. Let's go with just something crazy. Maybe we'll go with this. What about sparkly keys? I think my guitar and bass were out of tune a little bit, so I apologize for that. I should have checked that beforehand. I think the soft bells were kind of cool. Kind of lo-fi. Okay. I'm just going to mute those because, yeah, I was out of tune. My apologies. I should have tuned before I started. I was not in tune with the keyboard, with the synthesizer. My bad. Okay, so last thing we need to do now is Go to loops. I'm going to show you the loops function. You could do, even if you go to add track, there is the browse loops thing. Loops are pre-recorded instruments and sound effects and all sorts of things. And here it has kind of categories. You can also just go to packs. And you can also, and here's like different, you have different producers, you have different types of beat, loops, just kind of categorized. Characters, intense, chill, melodic, organic. We're just going to go to the loop one now, and it just lists everything. And I want some percussion, I think. So where's drums? Percussion, there it is. I want something, yeah, Belarus Congo or something. Now you can preview these. Yeah, well, that little shaker. That'll fill up the high end a little bit. Now it has 85, that's the beat per minute. That's pretty close to 78. So if you do something fast, it can do some strange things to the sound because it's slowing down this that was really recorded at 172 beats per minute. So just be careful of that. Also, if you're using like chordal instruments or guitars or melodic instruments, saxophones, whatnot, it's going to have a key, and if you're not playing in the same key, then it's going to be weird. But again, if you don't know any of that stuff, don't make it. You shouldn't keep you from making music. Just you'll realize how handy it is to know stuff about music. Like in theory, you'll be able to create faster at the speed of your own inspiration if you do. So that's what the purpose of a lot of our courses are. All right, so I'm going to take this one here. Nope. Yeah, that shakery thing. And I'm just going to drag it to where it says drop a loop or an audio MIDI thing. You can add your own loops, add your own recordings, sample different things from around your house, whatever you want to do. To get rid of that, I'm going to click loops again, and that frees my space up. And this little, you kind of see it, circle, you can just drag it and it'll just loop it. Okay, and that's a sample. Okay. So another function is S, means solo. You can just hear that, or you can just I only want to hear the bass and the guitar. And notice the M is mute. I muted those strings because I was not smart and I didn't tune my instruments before I started playing. Another thing you can do is you could trim stuff. Let's say, oh, you know what I'll do? Is I want to take just the first. I want to take just the first measure. I'm going to select. You can do this by doing clicking and hitting shift and see how it's highlighting multiple instruments now. Or you can drag and select. I'm going to move this playhead and I'm going to click on edit and slice at playhead. And I'm going to take that, that, and that. And I'm going to take this first measure here. I'm going to copy. Looks like for copy, you just got to use your hotkeys. So Command C. Oh, and uh-oh, looks like there's a little bit of a jagged edge here. That's fine though, because I'm just going to put my playhead here. Select all. Again, slice at playhead. I'm going to select these, just delete them. You know, they need a little haircut. Now when I hit paste, I'm going to hit paste these selections that I made from over here, here, and here. I'm going to make sure I'm on this track so that it'll paste from that track down. Although if you do it here, then it's going to paste from this track down. It's going to say you need to add more tracks because you selected 1, 2, 3. You need another track down here. So just make sure you go to the track that you want to paste down from. And I'm just going to Command V, paste, 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 paste. Okay, I can do it that way by looping this. I was a little off of my timing on that one. Oh well. Okay, so then I'm just going to select all those, or you can do this. Oh, you're only going to be able to do one at a time. I'm just going to loop that over and over and over and over again, and now you're creating a beat. A repeating beat. I wish I selected something with better timing. I messed up beat 1. Oh, I forgot to keep. Okay, excellent. Somewhere around here. Oh, so that's why. Okay, so what happened here was that I kind of did this a little bit on purpose, a little bit not on purpose. It's just the way I had to have things set up for the screen recording. But when I solo the guitar, did you notice the drum beat's there? And if you're not recording with headphones, what's going to happen is it's also like whatever's coming out of your speaker while you're recording, it's going to re-record that again. Let's see if the same thing happened. So now there's all that bass happening now, it has it too. And let's listen to the drum beat on its own. Okay, so now listen to what happens when I bring in the guitar and bass. Kind of just keeps doubling up on that. And if I ever wanted just the guitar, it's not gonna, you're still gonna hear the drums being played because it's being layered and layered and layered and layered. So what you want to do is just like on this right here, is when you hear it, okay, is just that one thing. So that's the purpose of headphones, and the way I have it set up, it kind of works as a good example of what will happen if you don't wear headphones. Another issue is like, say that you want to redo your drums now. You're like, I need a different drum beat, or I want to delete the drums. I was just using them as a placeholder for now, or I want to record real drums now. When I delete this, unfortunately, the drum parts are going to be recorded into these tracks. So I can't get rid of the drums now, right? Additionally, if I turn up the guitar or turn it down, it's also going to do that to the drums that are recorded on this track. So you want everything lined up here. So that's what happens when you don't wear headphones. I hope that makes sense to you. So the way I have things set up to make this screen recording for this example is just kind of led to me showing you what would happen if you weren't wearing headphones. Anyway, another tip. Notice here it says last save never. This is not like Google Docs that saves every little move you make. I should have been saving as I went. Okay, that can be a hard thing to remember in today's age, especially with the way things are at Sturgis right now, where everything you do is just get automatically saved. If your computer shuts down or something happens or your internet cuts out, you might lose everything you worked on. Actually, you will if you don't save. So every time you make an improvement, click save. Make an improvement, click save. Make an improvement, click save. So that's the basics of how to make music on BandLab. And you can experiment with it as much as you want and just play with it. You can also ask for help. You can, I believe, even record stuff and send the project to someone else to add another part on. So perfect for remote stuff. I have to double check on how to do that. It might be a little bit clunky, or it might be intuitive. We'll have to see what happens. Oh, and I'm just gonna name it. Forgot to name it. So Sturgis BandLab tutorial 1. Okay, enter. Oops, or click outside of it, I guess, and save again. All right, so let's hear the song one more time. Okay. All right. Thanks for watching, everyone. Let me know if you have any problems, and I'll help you get through them. All right. Happy music making.